Hello everybody and welcome to another Kerfuffle showcase, and I am delighted to have on the show today Dominic Versace of View Agent. How are you, Dominic?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Simon. How are you?
Good. I'm all right. Yeah, not bad. Just waiting for those pubs to open again, but you know that's different. Dominic, we've known each other a while from my old repick days, and you're a serial tech guru, I think it's fair to say, ex-agent, which we'll come on to in a second. So just to give you credentials there as why people should listen to you.
Thanks, Simon.
Today we're going to be talking about reputation management has just got a whole lot easier. Now, I know a bit about reputation management, and that's not my own, obviously, because that'd be an impossible job. Could you explain to everyone out there succinctly what does reputation management mean to you?
Sure. So I get asked this a fair bit from estate agents. So reputation in general is just people's opinions and beliefs about an individual and obviously about an estate agency. Now, whether that's factual or not, it's just what people perceive that to be. So from an estate agent's point of view, well, from actually any business's point of view, you've heard the saying, reputation is everything.
Yeah.
So, a positive reputation effectively will win you business and builds trust, and people want to do business with people who they perceive to have a positive reputation. But for those who have a negative reputation, it's the complete opposite. People just won't want to do business with you, and effectively they will just go to your competitors to do business. So, that's it in a nutshell. It's just people's beliefs and opinions about your business.
Okay, perfect. That's really handy. And we're going to explore that and develop that as we talk over the course of the next few minutes and everything else. Just to give your background, we always like to get an understanding of why people created their businesses and the bit of the backstory. Without going into war and peace, just give us your sort of how you got here.
Sure. So you can probably tell by my accent. Well, it's a hybrid accent now, but originally from Australia. I've been an estate agent since I was 18 years old. I worked for some of the big franchises over in Australia,
yep.
LJ Hooker, Ray White, some of these big national brands. And I learned the whole aspect of estate agency. So I'm a qualified property manager as well as a qualified sales negotiator. So I've done both aspects of the business.
Yep.
And almost I don't know, over 20 years ago now, I arrived in the UK. I'm showing my age. And
I knew your age when you couldn't figure out exactly how many years it was.
Yeah, I was trying to cover the grey hair as well, Simon. But anyway, yeah. So I came to the UK. So I did that for a long time over in Australia, and then I came over and I opened an estate agency here in London in Shoreditch, and I ran that for quite a while. And then I saw an opportunity in prop tech. It was at its infancy back then, and here I am.
What was it about prop tech that managed to, I suppose, lure you away from? Obviously, clearly you were a dedicated agent and everything else there. But what was it about technology in particular that kind of caught your eye?
I think one of the main things was how other industries adopted technology really quickly, and estate agency was a little bit slower off the mark. Now they are obviously, you've got your Rightmoves and your Zooplas, and that's just transformed the way we search for property. But there's other aspects to prop tech that, in fact, when I started, the term prop tech didn't even exist. No. So I believe that there was an opportunity there that there was a lot of growth in this space, and I wanted to get involved in that.
Yeah, and clearly being an advocate of technology and what it could do anyway, it was a natural fit, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's go back to it. So the issue, as I understand it, there is underpinning everything. You've got View Agent, which is a review site in its own thing. Now, of course, it won't win the no shit Sherlock award to say that there are other review sites out there. In fact, there's quite a few of them, and I can just well imagine a few people rolling their eyes. Oh, that's exactly what we need, is another review site. But actually, the reputation management piece is the really core differential, isn't it? The secret sauce element of what you're about.
Exactly. So that's our focus. So we are actually a reputation management platform. We have got a bespoke review platform that sits alongside that, but we're not pigeonholing ourselves into just our own review platform. We've embraced other review platforms to form part of this reputation management, and they include Google reviews and Facebook reviews.
Yeah.
So reviews do form a really big part of the reputation management platform. And that's because they just form part of our lives and all our decision making. You know, you try and go to Amazon and not read a review or book a hotel. You know, we do this as part of our lives, and the state agency is no different, where you can't actually hide from that anymore because it is part of our decision making as consumers. You know, back in the day when I actually first started, I do remember, you know, if somebody had something negative to say, they'd write a letter and post it to your boss with a complaint, or do it over the phone. Or if they had something positive to say, it'd be like a testimonial letter, and they'd send that in the post, and you'd use that in your, you know, presentations and so on. But now, you know, that's old school. Now, at their fingertips, people can express their views globally, you know, where thousands of people can actually read those opinions and those beliefs. So now we can't hide from that aspect anymore. We actually have to embrace it and do something about it. And it does become tricky, especially if you're on, you know, a lot of platforms and there's a lot of reviews going on and you're a busy agency and there's a lot going on. You know, there needs to be a way to be able to manage those reviews. And that's where we came up with View Agents, where we can basically manage all your reviews in one platform. So in one dashboard. So it makes it really easy for you to manage that.
So this is a vital point here I need to get across. So essentially what's happened before is a lot of people obviously try to focus on one web review website to nurture those leads. Now that's fine, and I understand why you would do that. But because then they will be pointed back to them by the members of the business. But it doesn't mean then that you're still not getting reviewed by the public at large on those other platforms. And frankly, sticking your head in the sand and just kind of pretending that those other ones, just because you've said, oh, well, we're going with, you know, whether that's a Google or a Facebook or a FIFA or whoever else it is there, is the wrong choice, isn't it? And what the problem is, you can be a hero on Google and a villain on Facebook, can't you? And unless you're willing to tolerate that all those people on Facebook are just kind of idiots or whatever else there, you've not got a full view of that, as you spoke about it, so important reputation.
Yeah, so you'd be surprised. I'm doing a demo with an agent and I'm on their View Agents dashboard, and I go to their Facebook reviews, and I had an agent say to me, I didn't even know I had Facebook reviews. So you know, sometimes it's just awareness. And then some of them highlight, well, why aren't these replied to? So they didn't even know they haven't even replied to reviews because they're so busy with other aspects of their business. So we just want to make that a lot easier for them to highlight that as an overview or in a granular perspective with each individual review, so we can do both.
Got you. And one of the things that, again, jumped out at me when you were talking about it was the element that you're the first kind of property specific review platform with this reputation element there. You know, so it's not just a generic review platform. You actually, when they're going through, for example, and giving reviews, they're doing it based around actual questions about where they are in either the sales or lettings process specifically, aren't they? So you can actually have a laser focus on you know, if that satisfaction score isn't good, why it isn't, and drill into that part of the business to try and rectify it.
So exactly right. So when you're on our own review platform, we first categorize who the person writing the review is. So it might be a seller with a house on the market. So there'll be really short stars that they have to click, you know, from everything from a listing presentation right through to the process, because it is a process. It's not like buying a toaster where you just order it and it arrives. You know, selling a house can take 6 months. There's a lot of moving parts. There's surveys, there's solicitors, there's, you know, valuations, and there's mortgages, and there's a whole bunch of things that go on with that. Several buyers negotiating. So we break down the different aspects in a really simple form, but then you can get an overview of what actually people are saying about you, both positive and negative. And then at least it enables you to action that and see, okay, this is the downside of our business. This is what we need to work on, because these are the comments coming through. So we even go even further than that, where you can even tag a staff member along with that review. Now that doesn't domain, but the business owner can see what people are saying about individual staff members and think, well, okay, maybe this person needs a little bit extra training in this part of the business where someone else might need something else. So we break it down. Unlike, I don't like talking about other review platforms, but say, for example, Google, I can put 1-star agents rubbish. Okay, what am I going to get out of that? Right? How can I improve my business? What can I do about it? I can't do anything. And how do I even know it's a verified review? You can't do any of that. Yeah. Even though Google's a global brand, it's sort of limited in our industry where we're quite unique. We created a unique platform to cater for that.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too wanky about it, but you genuinely went into this, didn't you, wanting to raise standards and wanting to do right by the agents, and famously, agents in the lettings world just they just tear their hair out with this issue where tenants just seemingly blame them for absolutely every issue, to the degree that so many lettings agency businesses try and do everything they can to separate the lettings reviews, because otherwise they will drag down the whole company's profile just because of these tenants having a pop at them.
Yes.
There's two elements there. First of all, we'll talk about that element in terms of how you obviously, you're catering for that. But then secondly as well, just that overall piece about wanting to, I suppose, rectify things and improve the reporting mechanism.
Yeah. So the first part of your question, I'll just give you a really short story about what actually happened to me. When I arrived in the UK, I was at a party in London and I was fresh off the boat, and I met some guys and we're having a pint, and I didn't know these guys, and introducing ourselves. And one of the guys asked me, "What do you do for a living?" And I said, "I'm an estate agent." And another guy said, "Boo." And then he goes, "Only joking."
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself,
welcome to the UK.
No, but I thought to myself, many a true word said in jest. And I thought, you know what? I'm actually a really good estate agent, hardworking, 6 days a week, and I'm committed to my occupation. This is a career for me.
Yeah.
And there was a stigma attached, and it's like that in Australia as well. And I thought, there's got to be a way to improve that.
So just before we move on from that, it's not quite as bad, is it, in Australia? I mean, I know there's that kind of, they talk about commission breath famously. Tom Panos talks about agents, just chasing it. But actually, it does seem to be perceived as having a better place, isn't it? Or is that
a little bit better. But then I've spoken to estate agents in the US, and when I've told them that story, they go, "Yeah, I get it." So it seems to be a global, issue. So what my thought was okay, you're right. A lot of agents don't like reviews because it's shooting the messenger, especially when it comes to lettings, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. I had one review come through where this agent's rubbish. I've had no hot water for 2 days and blah, 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 blah. And then the agent replied, "Well, we immediately sent over some temporary heating for you. Yeah. We got in touch with the landlord. We tried to get in touch with the landlord, but he was abroad and we couldn't get a hold of him. So we did everything we can to resolve the problem in the shortest amount of time." And in fairness, the agent did exactly what an agent was meant to do in that situation. They couldn't have done anything else. Yeah. Sure, there was a time lag where there was no hot water or heating, but they tried to rectify it as quickly as they could. But they still got a negative review where, in fact, it was the landlord that forgot to tell the agent that he was going to be around. There was other, so there was that aspect to it where I get that agent didn't deserve a 1-star review, but they did everything they could. Yeah. So one of the things I would like to stress, and what agents, I'll give you an example. I just had this not long ago where a sale fell through and they gave the agent a negative review.
Yeah.
So the agent's reply was absolutely brilliant. First that it was, I know house moving is quite a stressful process. We know that you're also buying a house and selling a house. You've got 2 transactions going on at the same time. But let me clarify. In a really polite way, we vetted the buyer. We checked, that they had a mortgage approved, and so on and so on. So they did everything they possibly could. We contacted the buyer several times to try and see if we can salvage the deal and so on. But ultimately, they got a negative review. But when you read the reply, it was actually brilliant. They turned a negative into a positive. I think we've covered a fair bit. There's a few other things, but I think we should save that for the next. I've noticed I've been on for long enough, because when I started, it was light in the background. Now through your sliding doors, it's dark.
Anyone who's been out to a pub with me knows that that's a very familiar. It's when it starts getting light again, that's when you want to panic.
Exactly. Okay.
Look, Dominic, I think that's really useful. We'll deal into a different aspect of what we're going to do next time. But for everybody there, I would recommend you give Dominic. Goes without saying, you can get in contact on the website of yours and get a demonstration and listen to what you're talking about.
Yeah, and thanks for the opportunity, Simon. Kerfuffle's a fantastic platform. So whoever's obviously watching, if you haven't signed up to Kerfuffle, I'll definitely sign up to them. It's a great platform.
You stop it. Okay. All right, Dominic. Thank you very much. Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
Simon.